Right. Alhamdulillah. Okay, selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone. So welcome to PPKA Talk Series 11. So ini yang kali yang ke-11 lah yang telah kita anjurkan for this year. Right. And for today's topic, it's very clear. We'll be talking about reliability and validity in education, whereby the two terms, reliability and validity, we know these are two concepts that are highly related to one another. So being an academics, it is therefore important for us to consider and ensure the reliability or the consistency and also the validity or the accuracy when designing items, measurements for research, or when we measure students' performance, for example, in education. So with that, we are truly honored today because we are not the expert. Not the expert in this area. We are very honored to have with us today our very own Professor Dr. Vincent Pang, a Professor of Education from Faculty of Psychology and Education, who is also an expert in curriculum evaluation. So on behalf of PPKA, we thank you very much, Prof, for being with us today and to share your expertise in especially in terms of measurings. Our topics of today. Right. So without further delay, I hand over the session to you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Amer. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you here again. The group is quite small, it's very cozy, so it's good that we can have more informal discussion. And we can maybe discuss more deeply on the issues related to validity and reliability. I'd like to thank PKA for inviting me to share my little experience on this area.
PPKA, Prof. Nama baru.
PPKA, yeah, okay, sorry. Okay. I believe that on your screen, you'll see that the main topic, the title of the topic.
Yeah, but Prof, clear.
Okay, good. So today I'm going to share with you on how do you ensure validity and reliability in assessment. Very often, these two terms are misinterpreted, and there are also some misunderstanding on these two terms, and also confusion between them. So today we look into these two terms more detail, and we will also look at these two terms in the context of assessment in higher education. The framework of this talk will be on validity, reliability, policy framework. Then I will talk about common issues in validity and reliability based on my observation in my 25 years of teaching in the university. And I will end with a conclusion. Okay, we use this term almost every day, validity. What is validity? These are the two definitions given by Ainsworth 2016. Validity is the extent to which a test measures what it was designed to measure. Meaning, if we want to measure something, we measure that thing and nothing else. This is the simplest way to understand validity. Another definition is the agreement between a test score or measure and the quality it is believed to measure. Again, if we measure something, we make sure that we measure that thing and nothing else. Happens in our life a lot. When a student misbehave, a school teacher asks them to write 5 pages, I will not misbehave again. I think that is a validity issue, because writing I will not misbehave again 5 pages is not related to the act of misbehaving. One is to practice writing. The other one is behavior. So things like this occur very frequently at home, in school, in universities, and more scary is in higher education. Another example is rotan. At home, rotan is an issue of validity. Rotan is not related to the act of whatever that we don't like. Okay, let's look at this. This is my favorite image. In this image, there's a questionnaire. Are you drunk? Let's look at this scenario. A policeman stop a driver at night and give the driver this questionnaire. And this is what the driver produced. So do you think he is drunk? I think most of you will agree that he is drunk. Why? There are two measurement methods here. First measurement method is through perception of the driver. The driver tries to deny that he is not drunk. That is why you can see the cross is nearer to no than yes. So the first instrument is questionnaire, which is based on perception. The second instrument is observation by your eyes. You look at this. You see that the cross is not even put properly in any of the boxes. And even the cross is jagged. So from your observation, the second instrument, the driver is drunk. So now we are comparing two measurement methods, questionnaire and observation. And you find that observation is a more valid method. There are many examples in our daily life related to things like this. There are many types of validity. Actually, there are 5. I will only talk about 2 of them, which are closely related to higher education assessment. The first is face validity. From the word face, we can tell that this validity is about the surface, physical appearance. So face validity is a degree to which a measure appears to be related on the surface to a specific construct in the judgment of a non-expert. Non-experts, because only non-experts look at. Sorry, yes. Sorry, yes. Hello. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I mean, I can call it. Okay. So only non-experts look at appearance, formats, spelling, and face validity look at whether the test appears to be measuring what it purports to measure or not. In our practice, in our vetting meetings, we check formats. Most of us, we check formats, pagination, language, typesetting, sum of subscores to make sure that they are tally, quality of printouts, etc. This is only touching on face validity, which is not good enough. So I would like to urge the faculties to move away from here, to move away, to advance one step more, at least. Because if you're only checking format, page numbers, language, spelling, comma, no comma, full stop, colon, semicolon, typesetting, sum of total scores, quality of printout, cantik kata cantik, this is just face validity, which is not good enough.
Prof.
Yes.
Yeah, another question on validity. Is constructive alignment, is it about validity as well? Ada satu soalan.
Yes. This is actually more on content validity, constructive alignment. Thanks for the question. Feel free to ask question because we are a small group, so we can do it very informally, santai-santai.
Okay, Prof.
So, Jamil, actually you are touching on content validity, constructive alignment, especially between learning outcomes and assessment methods or assessment tools, which is what we should do more. The name itself says content, so it is about content. Content validity is about degree to which assessment instrument is relevant. There are two things here: relevant, representative of targeted constructs it is designed to measure. So this is the LO, the outcomes, course outcomes that you want to measure. You must make sure that the method, the assessment is relevant, measuring what we actually intend to measure. And representative, a simple way of looking at representative is if the topics are covered by exam, there should be more exam papers, more questions from topics which you use more number of hours to cover. The present table 4 has that feature to make sure that we adhere to that. This is about representativeness of measuring items. So content validity is about expert check. We need experts to do the content validation. We look at content, and format actually is face validity. When we do content validity, actually we are already covering face validity. So this is content validity, this is face validity. Okay, how is it related to our work? In assessment plan, vetting meetings, experts or peers validate the course assessment plan, CAP. If possible, get people in the same field to validate. Also validate not just the exam paper or the assessment tools, also validate the JSU and content, what we are measuring, even the rubrics, if you are using non-exam methods. This is the more important part of or type of validity. How do you measure content validity using numbers? This is how we calculate. This is the simplest method. There are many methods. This is the simplest method to calculate content validity using content validity index by Gregory. What we need is actually 2 experts to judge the items. Okay, the experts will use 4-point scale. 1 not relevant, 2 somewhat relevant, 3 quite relevant, 4 very relevant. So we are looking at 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are considered acceptable. Content validity is D divided by A, B, C, D. I will go to D later in the next slide. ABCD is actually the total number of items, and we need at least 0.8 for content validity. Okay, what is ABCD? A is the number said to be weak relevance, which is 1 and 2, by both expert 1 and expert 2. Example, item number 25. Experts 1 give 2, expert 2 give 1. So this is classified as A. B is considered relevant by expert 1, but not relevant by expert 2, which is not good enough. No agreement. C is the same, considered good by expert 2, but considered not good by expert 1. So what we are looking for is actually D. We are looking for D, which is the number of items agreed by both experts. Both experts says this item is good. So D is a total of number of items belonging to that category. We will do an exercise after this, simple exercise. Example, there are 100 items here. Total this, you get 100. So ABCD is 100. 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 87 should be 100. So this is 100. So ABCD actually is the total number of items. D is the total number of items agreed by both. In this example, there are 87. Out of the 100 items, 87 of the items are considered good by expert 1 and 2. So we use D, divide D by 100. So 87 by 100, 0.87, which is good, which is more than 0.8. Okay, next we will do a very short workshop. I think it will take you maybe 5 minutes or more or less. We know about this PK07. Maybe we do not know how it was done, but at the end of the semester, we get the report. Example, our expertise is 0.43, our whatever 0.4, our teaching aid 0.45. That is under assessment 2 PK07, which was done by the students before they can print out their exam slip. So we will use that as the basis for our content validation, because all of us know about the instrument. At least you know the result of the instrument. Now we want to look at whether the instrument is valid by calculating the CVI, content validity index. So now imagine yourself as an expert in teaching and learning, because this is about course evaluation. You are an expert in teaching and learning, or you are an expert in assessment of teaching and learning. Now you want to make assessment on the suitability or relevance of each item. Suitability or relevance. Each item, make a judgment by using 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is very relevant, 3 is quite relevant, 2 and 1 are out. So you are to make judgment on every item. There are altogether 15 items. I'm taking A, B, C, D, E only. Of course, there's E and F in the instrument, which is not so relevant for teaching and learning. I will give you the link later, and we will calculate this. Okay, please use your handphone, scan that QR code, and put in your response as an expert. Once you have done, just type done in the chat box so that I know I can proceed. If you are using a computer, okay, I'll copy the link and paste it there. If you are using a computer, you can the link in the chat box.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah, we got the link.
Okay. Yeah. Please type done when you have done it.
Prof,
Yes.
yeah, while waiting for the answers, can I have one
Okay,
question?
good. Sorry?
How I have
Okay.
one question.
Okay.
How
Please proceed.
how frequent, how
Yeah.
frequent we should conduct this face validity and content validity? Because you mentioned just now earlier,
Yeah.
yeah, every semester we do face validity kan, itu vetting
Yeah.
soalan dan sebagainya.
Yeah.
And you suggest that we should move away from that.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm saying is instead of doing just face validity, we do the content validity as well. That means just as frequent as what we have done before. Just that instead of working on face validity, we work on content validity. The same meeting, same vetting meeting.
Okay, so maksud
Just focus more on the content rather than the format and etc.
so that means we don't have to wait for retreat lah kan to do content validity. I mean, we can do that every semester as well.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
differently.
Just
All right.
use the vetting meetings.
Prof.
Maybe work in smaller panels. Only the experts work in the respective test items, and also the measurement tools, other measurement tools other than exams.
Ya. Bukan bergaduh pasal bold or not bold bahkan Prof.
Yalah, pasal bold tak bold, italic tak italic itu pun bukan face validity pun.
Itu pun mau gaduh sampai setengah jam.
Yalah. Itu sudah berlalu lah. Kasih matikan itulah. Okay, actually on your screen, do you see a spreadsheet or not? On your screen, is it a spreadsheet?
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. It looks quite good actually. At a glance, it looks quite good. Except bahagian E lah. E, of course, E measures something else. Measures the environment, measures something outside control of lecturers. So let's take this. Actually, to do content validation, we need to take two experts. Okay. Since I do not have names, I don't know who is an expert. Otherwise, I will look for Prof punya response. Okay, let's assume dua orang lah, random lah kan. Random, maybe we take the last two persons as an expert. Well, in the question going in the last person. Okay, we take the last two person as an expert. Okay. So we actually need two experts, but I ask all to do so that you experience the process. Okay, let's consider number 33 and 32 are experts. Okay. First, these responses are given altogether there are 15 items. A1 to A3 and up to E1 to E3. So what you need to do is, do you see the PowerPoint slide on your screen? On your screen, is it PowerPoint slide?
Yeah, Prof.
Okay, good. So now what we see is we only need to find out D, because it's D divided by 15. Okay, D divided by 15. D is the total number of items agreed by both, or considered 3 or 4 by both. So let's look at D in our worksheet. Okay, this is D. Both experts say agree on D. This is not D, yeah. Okay, the rest are not D. You see, this is expected because especially these three, those three items, if you remember, they measure more on the environment, not so much on the lecturer's work. So these are the D. Oh, there's another entry. Tak apa lah. We just take the 32, 33 ya. So berapa tu D? How many Ds are there? D is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ya. 9 divided by 15. 0.6. 0.6 is not acceptable. So in instrument ini, Dr. Dennis mau review ini. Tapi ini practice because we just assume that 32 or 33 are experts If you really want to review, cari expert dari luar university lah. Expert in higher education assessment.
Oke, Prof, noted tuh. Memang pun mau ubah.
Apa tu?
Memang pun mau ubah.
Okay, good. Cari expert dari luar. Look for the actual expert in those experts in assessment in higher education. Look for 2 persons, ask them to do the assessment like this. Then we can decide on whether it is good or not. So this is how we calculate content validity. It's very simple. This is the simplest method. Good job. Semua. Let's proceed. Okay, next we move to reliability. Reliability is the extent to which a test or procedure produces similar results under constant conditions on all occasions. Similar result. That is why reliability is always the consistency, always related to consistency. And that is why when you do questionnaire, you calculate alpha, Cronbach's alpha. Cronbach's alpha's actual name is Cronbach's index of internal consistency. There are many types of consistency. Alpha is one of the types, most popular type, because alpha looks at internal consistency. So again, reliability is measured using consistency. Methods of measuring reliability, internal consistency, you can see alpha here. Okay. For alpha, we should only use it for questionnaires. If you are measuring alpha for test, it should be KR20. They are quite similar. The difference is in test, there are right and wrong scores. Right, because of right and wrong scores, Coder-Richardson is preferred. Cronbach's alpha is used when there is no right or wrong. All responses are correct. If you are doing a questionnaire, all responses are correct. There's no right or wrong answer. Example, the item says I am hardworking. So for me, I give 5 because I'm very hardworking. Correct. But if I'm very lazy, I respond with 1. So 1 is also correct because I'm really very lazy. Strongly disagree. So there is a difference between KR20 and Cronbach's alpha. Both are assessed using internal consistency. Internal consistency looks at different parts producing same conclusion. Example, item number 1 up to item number 50. You pick up some from here and make one set. Another one from here make another set. These two sets of instruments should produce the same result. This is internal consistency. Common method is you take the odd number, take the even number, do two separate assessments. They should produce the same result. This is internal consistency, alpha. The second method is test retest. We use the same test. Again, measure the same test in another time, at another time, and check the correlation, check the Pearson's R. Example, today you measure, next month you measure. They should be correlated, should be highly correlated. This is test retest. Alternative equivalent or parallel forms of reliability. This involves two sets of instruments. If you use a set of instrument in Labuan, one set in KK, one set in Sanakan, you should calculate this one. And also this you can use calculate using Pearson's R. Labuan's paper, Sanakan's paper, and KK's paper, although you claim that they are the same, you should do a Pearson's test to prove that they are the same, they are equivalent. Inter-rater reliability. Rater refers to examiner or marker. Inter-rater reliability means if our paper is marked by different people, the same paper is divided into 2 or 3 piles and marked separately, you have to ensure inter-rater reliability. Because different raters must apply the same standards. Example, the same paper is done, let's say this is a paper, Trust faculty. Trust faculty paper taken by students from program ABCD, 4 programs in the faculty. So you cannot just divide it or just distribute to the respective lecturers that asked them to mark it immediately. They should check their inter-rater reliability. Inter-rater reliability is assessed by having 2 or more independent judges score the test. The score are then compared to determine the consistency of the raters' estimates. There are 2 methods. These 2 are very simple. First method is each rater assigns each test item a score. We just give score to every item. For example, each rater might score items on a scale of 1 to 10. So maximum mark 10. Calculate the correlation. Again, this is using Pearson's R between the 2 ratings to determine the level of inter-rater reliability. Example, 10 items. The answer for item 1 for the same candidate, rater 1 give 5 marks. Answer for item 2, rater 1 gives 6 marks, and so on. The second rater, photoset copy, these 2 should work independently. They shouldn't consult each other, should be independently. Rater 2 gives 6 for answer 1, gives 7 for answer 2, and so on. So there are 2 sets of data. This is pet sample. Everybody has 2 sets because every script has two sets of score. So you use Excel function, you can use calculate reliability using Pearson's R. In this case, 0.64, which is not good enough. We should be looking at 0.8. 0.6 is considered moderate. If possible, go for 8, or 0.8. Second method is even easier.
Sorry, Prof.
Yes, sorry, proceed.
So the method one just now. So
Yeah.
if the score is below 0.8, then what's the next procedure? I mean, do we have to get another new rater?
Yeah, if the scores are different, they should do moderation. Score moderation. Moderation of scoring. Thanks, Amer, is a good question. How do you do moderation? You form the pile of scripts, photocopy one, photocopy the same script 2 times. Give it to rater A and B or rater 1 and 2. Okay. Of course, give with the rubric lah. Let's say this guy give 6 out of 10. This guy give 8 out of 10. So we know that this guy is too strict. Okay. This guy is strict. This guy is lenient. So they have to discuss to come to a common agreed mark. So in this case, it's easier to say that we take the middle path, give 7. Okay. So now this guy knows that he should be slightly more strict. At least this guy knows that he should be slightly more lenient. Okay, now repeat this with the next script. This script may be very difficult. This guy give 5. This guy also give 5. If this occurs, then you are sure that, I mean, you are more or less agreeable that now they have come to the same standard. Then they can proceed to mark separately. Okay, so the effort is to check each other's standard so that when they score the same script, they give the same score. Okay, it's quite easy. You just need 2 or 3 rounds to get the common standard. Good question.
Prof. Vincent.
Yes.
Yeah. This is something. Is this practice or encouraged to be practiced among colleagues in university level? Because this practice is common, especially to those who have been in the school, and when we mark SPM or SCPM questions,
public exam.
we have to go through this process.
Yes, public exam. This must be done because we have to make sure that people's mark there is reliability between the examiners. In university, the scenario is most of us teach one subject, our own subject. So we apply the same standard. Therefore, this is not needed. If you are strict, because the same person is marking the script, except in the case of khusus teras sekolah, teras faculty. I think in every faculty they discuss this. Some faculties use very simple method like -1 mark from this person for every candidate. If you want to do it properly, this is the way to do it. Of course, -1 mark from every candidate or -2 marks from every candidate, you have to really justify that the person you mark, you deduct the mark form is too lenient. Need some justification. So moderation is the best way to avoid this. Thanks to Prof. In university, it's not so common because of this, because most of us mark our own paper and there's no second marker. So that's why a lot of people are not aware of this.
Oh.
But it's good to know. Yes. Yes.
In case of the interrater reliability is so low, for example, between 3 lecturers, can we standardize the marks using the Z score or T score?
Yes, I'm going to move on to that actually.
Oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, good one, huh?
Okay.
Let's say you forget to do moderation, and really there is a very big discrepancy between the two sets of scores. The next way to damage control is using t-score and z-score. T-score and z-score. I think I have time, so I can go worksheet, spreadsheet. Thanks, Dennis. I think it's a good question. Okay, this is how the final damage control. Plus 1. Plus 1. These are the marks given by This is a mark given by the second examiner. They may not be realistic. Just take this as an example. From here, maybe we can see that probably the marker of class A is more lenient. Okay, you can find out. You can find a mean and standard deviation to find out. Find the mean. Find the standard deviation. Okay. And do the same for the second class. Yeah. Now we can only do this if the two classes are equivalent. Okay. If the classes are stream, this is not relevant because memang class 1 is expected to perform better if there's streaming in a class, or if there's an obvious intake criteria between the two classes. Maybe like this class is engineering, this class is maybe another course which does not require high intake qualification. Now then you cannot do this. You can only do this if the two classes are all equivalent. Okay, now the two classes are somewhat different in the score distribution. Those in class 2, yes, get lower mark. Not really because they are poorer, but because the examiner is too strict. So we can actually salvage this by calculating t-score and z-score. Z-score first. Z-score is the score minus the mean score divided by the standard deviation. You have to log number 12. You have to log 13. Okay, copy to everybody. From the sign of the z-score, you know whether it's above average or below average. Those below average are those that has negative values. So we can copy this and paste here for the Z score for the other group. Okay. These numbers may not make sense because very confusing, a lot of decimals and very small value. Therefore, we convert to t-score. Okay. If you want to make both classes of equal standard, you can use actually the first class as the standard. Okay. The formula for t-score is t is equals to whatever the desired mean plus the score multiplied by the standard deviation that you want. The mean plus the standard deviation that you want. To make it simpler, let's do a common one first, t. Maybe this is simpler. We make usually the usual mean that we accept is 50. This is by default, but you can adjust this. 10, sorry, it's 10R. 10. This should be Z.
Column
Z.
I.
Sorry.
Column I.
Okay. 10 is the standard deviation. Z is the Z score. Z score multiplied by the desired standard deviation. Okay, let's use this one. This is simpler. So for t-score, you just do 50 plus 10 multiplied by Z. Okay. You do the same here. Make them round up. If you find their standard deviation, you see you get both equal standard now. Both classes have the same mean and the same standard deviation. Okay. Both classes have same mean and same standard deviation. But if you think that 50 is too low, you don't want your mean to be 50, then everybody will getting great render. You can adjust your t to a desired one. For example, you want t to be 70 and standard deviation you can maintain at 10. Okay. Then you just do the same. 70. I think I just copy the formula lagi. I just edit ini lah, lebih cepat. 70. B2. plus 10, Z. Copy this. Put here. Make this round up. Calculate mean and standard deviation. Cantik. So both classes have a same mean of 70 and same standard deviation of 10. So this is a final mark that we take. This is the last resort. This is the last resort if you fail to do or you forgot to do moderation and the mark difference is too big. This is how you achieve the same standard. But not easy to convince people to accept this method, especially those who are used to their normal practice.
Bell curve,
Yeah.
Prof.
Apa tu?
Bell curve.
This one I think will give you bell curve. So we go back to our slides. So that is how we can solve the issues related to inter-rater reliability. Second method is even easier. Second method, we give score. Just like the first method, we give score. We calculate percentage of agreement, and we are still using the same criteria, 0.8. Example, for answer number 1, this guy give 5, the second guy also give 5, so agree. This one no agreement, agree. So you get 6/10, 0.6, which is not good enough. You should get 0.8 to show high inter-rater reliability. What are the factors affecting test reliability? First is the number of items. More items, more reliable. That is why when you calculate Cronbach's alpha, your alpha for your domains is usually less than the alpha for the total or overall instrument, because overall instrument more items, each domain less items, so you get a smaller alpha. If your construct has 5 items compared to another construct 10 items, the 10 item one should give you higher value of alpha. So number of items is better if you want more number, better reliability. The second factor is item difficulty. To get more reliability, if you have more moderate level items, you should get higher reliability. But we shouldn't go for this just because we want higher reliability. We cannot be playing too safe, because we really need to test the lower one and also the higher one, lower ability and high ability people. This is just one method, but don't purposely go for it just because you want to get higher reliability. Homogeneity. Your items are homogeneous, measuring more or less the same thing. It should be more reliable. Example, a test item measuring only multiplication of 1 digit by 1 digit should be more reliable compared to another item of mixed operation or any type of operation, plus, minus, divide, multiply, all mixed in the item. That one should give you less reliability. Number 4 is a skill or number of options. More options, higher reliability. Meaning ABCDE option should be more reliable than ABCD option. Therefore, this is how we improve reliability. Increase the number of items. How to increase the number of items? Use objective items, because you can have more items instead of subjective. But you must bear in mind that objective items cannot be used to measure high-level items, high-level questions. Level 3 and above, level 3 maybe is still okay. 4 and above or 5 and above, it's very hard to measure using objective items. So when you read this, you have to bear that in mind. Structured items compared to essay items. Essay item, you only have one item. Structured items, for one item, you can break to sub-items. So you get more number of items if you structure them. Increase the time allocation, because more time you can test more items. Number 2, you can do item analysis to get moderate items facility. Facility is the measurement of difficulty. Higher value, higher facility. Again, don't just go for this just because you want high reliability, because you also want to test a very strong one, and you also want to test a very low one. Choose items with good item total score correlation. In SPSS, you can calculate that item score correlation. Provide more options. Example, 5-point scale is better than 3-point scale. Now, ABCDE is better than ABC. That is about ways to improve reliability. Okay, now why do we want to learn all these things? Why do we want to make sure that things are done properly? We have to go back to the policy framework. The policy framework that we have for assessment, basically, there are 2 very important documents. One is COPPA, and the other is GGP-AS. COPPA sets standards for all academic programs, including assessment, which is area 2. Area 2 in the new COPPA. There are a few guidelines for good practices in MQA. One of them is assessment. So for assessment, the policy framework for assessment is basically mainly in these 2. COPPA standard 2.1.1. I have highlighted where is validity and where is reliability in that particular standard. 2.1.1, assessment principles, methods, and practices must be aligned to the learning outcomes of the program, consistent with the levels defined in the MQF. So the question by Dr. Dennis earlier, constructive alignment. Constructive alignment is a reliability, is a validity issue. We have to align assessment to learning outcomes. And also the levels, to measure the right level, this is a validity issue. Yeah, this is another thing that you can check in your vetting question. I said earlier, we move from phase validity to content validity. I think even if you are not the exact expert in the subject, you can still more or less tell whether the levels are there or not. So non-experts maybe can also contribute in terms of checking levels.
Sorry, Prof.
Because, yes.
Yeah, sorry. We have another question on validity just now.
Okay.
If you look from expert from other institutions or university, is it called external validity?
Yes. If we take the example of PK07, PK07 measures cost performance, measures actually customer satisfaction in business term. PK07 is a customer satisfaction measure. So if you refer to an expert in higher education teaching and learning, and they should be relevant. Okay. 2.1.2 standard 2.1.2, the alignment again, alignment, constructive alignment again. So that is a validity issue. To review regularly. To review regularly is a reliability issue, because if you do more regular review, your program and your assessment becomes more consistent and it'll be more reliable. And lastly is this effectiveness. Effectiveness is a measure of content validity, because it looks at the outcome achievement. 2.2.1. 2.2 is about assessment methods. 2.2.1, there must be a variety of methods. Variety of methods will contribute to reliability, because when more is better in terms of reliability. Appropriateness in measurement is a validity issue. 2.2.2, clearly terang-terang validity, reliability. 2.2.4, procedures and regulations. Our example vetting mechanism. How do you execute the table 4 punya CAP, cost assessment plan, and so on? These are contributing to content validity, because it is contributing to helping us to measure what we want to measure. This should be 2.3, sorry. 2.3.1. 2.3 is about management of assessment in COPA. There must be guidelines to appeal. This is again content validity. Because students can also tell whether, if students are not satisfied that they are measured based on what they should be measured, they can make an appeal. Example, mungkin pensyarah benci student itu, atau relationship between the pensyarah and the student is quite bad. So the student suspect that atas kebencian markah itu rendah. So this is a reliability issue. Therefore, students has the right to appeal, to make sure that the assessment is solely based on the student's performance in assessment and not based on the kebencian itu. It's validity. 2.3.4 must be periodically reviewed. Though what is more is always related to reliability. And the review, you must have action on the findings of the review, which is validity.
Sorry, Prof.
Yes.
The 2 to 1 tadi tu.
Yeah.
So that means that refers to having a clear rubric punya assessment.
Yes. Just a rubric is a very, very important contributor to validity. To make sure that we measure according to what we professionally want to measure, and there's nothing to do with the student punya relationship or whatever they blame or they claim.
Right. Another question.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Dennis, can integrated assessment improve either reliability or validity of the assessment?
I think can contribute to both, because assessment is not as simple as we can divide them into silos. Integrated measurement is actually more authentic than the conventional measurement, where we break down into different types and when they combine the marks. So integrated is more valid, because it's more real to real life situation, workplace situation. At least it's closer to that. And integrated measure also involve many forms of measurement. So it contributes to reliability. Okay, the next document is GGPAS guidelines for assessment. It's written there, guidelines to improve validity and reliability. Measurement methods and instruments must be appropriate with the desired level. Very clear. The level must be correct. Measurement must be appropriate. Assessment given throughout the semester should be in various forms. We have moved away from tests and exams, so which is good. To assess different learning domains, and the COs determined for the course. More than one task and sources of evidence are needed. This is also related to reliability. Test coverage has to be balanced, covering most of the main ideas and important concepts in proportion. This is content validity. Heavier content, more measurement. Assessment methods and instruments must be validated by another person. With this is also very clear. They are validation by another person with expertise in the area assessed. Okay, next we move on to issues in validity and reliability, also based on my observation in my 20 over years of higher education. First, you need to be very sure about the context of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, I think some of you have done this before. Let's use this as an example to explain context. This is a job to be done by moving two matches. If you move two matches, what is the biggest possible number? Okay, can you just on your mic and shout? Lupa sudah Dr. Nis pernah dengar ni. Handle dah. Jauh lebih dari itu, bos. Good try, handle. 1503. It's more than that. More than 1503. Ada jawaban lagi? Okay. Ini macam student kita ni, macam menunggu jawapan. Okay, a good effort. 1,000 over already. I have tried this actually a few times. 5118, this is very good. Take this and arrange here. What do you get? 15118. Okay. But if you walk to the other side, terbalikkan your handphone, you get 81151. To me, this is the highest. I have tried this. I have tried it. It's very, very hard. Kalau tidak mau buyuk, this will be the highest. Okay. 15111 should be the highest. Kalau tidak mau consider buyuk, pusing itu handphone. Okay. This item arah seberapa? If you consider this, if you take this, if you take this, it could be 4 or 5. It can even be 6. If you, for those who answer this, it can be level 6 because it involves thinking out of the box, thinking out of the box. So this can be as high as 6. For those who answer 15118, this is level 4, level 5 because it make use of many lessons. Example, 2 is bigger than 1, 3 is bigger than 2. They're okay. Also make use of more digits, bigger number. Okay, more digits, bigger number. So a combination of a few areas or a few lessons to produce the result that can be level 4 or level 5. Okay, so this is a level 4, level 5 question. Now I ask you again, second time, what is the biggest possible number? You can answer straight away 15118 or 81151. So what happened here? There's a magic. An item was level 5 before, a few seconds ago. Now it becomes level 1. Therefore, it's very important to look at the context when we measure. The context is the task has not been done before and the students have not seen the answer before. Therefore, you shouldn't pick up from a past year paper because past year paper, student would have tried it before. Once they have tried it, they only remember the answers, which is level 1, not level 5 or level 6. This also explains why it's very easy to score A these days in SPM because of social media, because of efficiency in information flow. Students get model answers everywhere. So students these days have come across, we can say more or less any question, any possible questions because they get from various sources. That is about the context. So if the students have seen answering something that they have seen before or answered before, we are not measuring that method, that level. This is about context. This is spoken clearly in Bloom's writing. Bloom's writing, the second paragraph. Test materials can be satisfactorily classified by means of taxonomy only when the context in which a test problem were used is known or assumed. So we have to consider the context of the students. Okay, next issue is prescribed words. I know it's very convenient. If you want to form if you want to form a level 4 question, you use the word relate, and you assume that it must be level 4. This practice has to be checked. The verbs can lead you to that level. If your items has the word criticize, you think it must be level 5. If your question has the word develop or your assignment has the word develop, you think it must be level 6. You have to review this. It has to be used in the context of the task and make sure that when the example of develop, make sure that they develop something new, something fresh, something that they use all the skills. It is possible that the verbs are not measuring the level if the context is not considered. For example, students have experienced something in the previous semester. Then when you measure them again in your semester, they would have experienced something before, so it could be a lower level. So these verbs are okay for the level, but check the context of the students to make sure that we are really measuring according to the outcomes by looking at the context of the students. The next issue is confusion of learning domain. This is from MQA. This is from GGP assignment. If you look at the level 7 below, origination, adaptation, these are from psychomotor taxonomy. Psychomotor means something performed using the brain and the muscles. Okay, there must be movement. There must be movement. These are examples given in the document. Develop and execute new integrated responses and activities. If these are work done, is okay. If these are work done, okay. In this case, execute is okay. Okay. So this statement is okay, but if you look at example, construct a new theory. What has a new theory to do with muscles, body muscles, or movement? Develop a new and comprehensive training program. New and comprehensive training program is a paperwork. Something written on paper. Creates a new gymnastic routine. This can be written. Can be some scripts. So this can be repeated, creates and perform. Maybe can, okay, creates and perform, still okay. But this new theory, I think, is definitely confusion of learning domain. Example of performance troubleshoot. Troubleshoot. If you are just sitting there and talk about possibilities using flowchart and so on, that is still cognitive. But if you do it, then it becomes okay. So these are some examples of confusion of learning domains. Actually, I have informed MQA about this. I think they are in the process of reviewing this, and I hope they remember this again when they do it. This guidelines is being reviewed now. Next issue is a misconception that reliability is very important. Reliability is about consistency. I have said this before. It's about dependability. How dependent, how consistent. Reliability is a prerequisite to validity. It's good to be reliable before it can be valid. Okay. Good to be reliable before it's valid. Before you go for validity. In the case of bowling, you bowl your ball masuk longkang, second bowl masuk longkang, third masuk longkang, fourth masuk longkang. Is this consistent?
Yes, consistent.
Yes, very consistent. So your bowling skill is reliable. This is the accurate interpretation of reliability. Your bowling skill is very reliable because every row was masuk longkang. Same in golf. Golf pukul bola masuk pon, pukul lagi masuk pon, pukul lagi masuk pon. Very reliable golfing skill.
Prof main golf gitu kah?
Yalah, begitu macam itulah lebih kurang. So reliability is not always good. It only tells that it is consistent. Katakan kita masuk kelas tiap hari lambat 10 minit. Tiap hari masuk lewat 10 minit. Which is very consistent. So your punctuality is very reliable. So reliability may not be good all the time. What is more important? More important to be measuring exactly. Okay, compared to measuring consistently. We should look at here more exactly, not consistently. When there's a systematic error, is it valid? Is it reliable? What is systematic error? An error that occurs consistently. Example, when you measure the strip of paper above, it shows 10 centimeter. Betul ke 10? Is it accurate?
Not accurate.
It's accurate ka? It's not accurate because
Invalid.
you should be putting your paper here. So it should be somewhere here.
Yeah.
Invalid measurement.
So this is an invalid measurement. But this is very consistent, very reliable. If you measure now 10, you measure again, still 10. Measure 10 kali pun 10 dengan cara ini. So this is what we call a systematic error. An error that measures that occurs all the time. An error that occurs all the time. This is called systematic error. So systematic error gives you consistency, give you reliability, but does not give you validity because the measurement is not valid. The exact measurement is not 10. Should be around 13. So again, systematic error gives you reliability, but not validity. Okay, this is another example in education. Let's say the learning outcome is maths operation. Maths operation means how many plus how many equals how many. But this is the test paper. In this test paper, there are 4 items. What is the sum, difference, product, quotient? Is this valid? Is this reliable? This is less valid because it is actually measuring language also. Because our LO here is about maths operation. Imagine this is a primary school task. We are not just measuring maths operation, we are also measuring language. So this is not so valid. Because you intend to measure maths operation, you are actually measuring maths and also English. So not valid. But this is reliable. Because item 1 measures English and maths operation. Item 2, same thing. Item 3, same thing. Item 4, same thing. Every item measures English and maths, not just maths alone. So this set of paper, exam paper, is reliable but not valid. Reliable because every time measuring the wrong thing. This also has implications on our work, our assessment work. In our exam papers, try not to use jargons unless it's a trade jargon or jargon in the field. Don't use a language jargon in the subject test. Use the simplest language to avoid the issues like this. This diagram summarizes the importance of our relationship between both. We should be looking at this thing. Valid because hits the target, hits the learning outcomes. Reliable because measuring consistently here. This is reliable because all the items are measuring consistently in one place, but it's not valid because not hitting the target. This is quite valid because if you find the point of best fit, it is still somewhere here. But it's not reliable because it's everywhere, not consistent. This is both unreliable and invalid because it doesn't focus on here and it's all over. So we should be aspiring to get this. As conclusion, we see that there are some gaps between aspirations and realities in validity and reliability. Some we are aware, some we are not aware of. It's through experience and through learning that we begin or we get more awareness in terms of measuring validly and reliably. Academics need to improve their understanding and practices of validity and reliability via awareness on these two documents. Okay. Whenever you're in doubt, check these two documents because these two are the one that the auditors are operating on, and these are the one that to help you to assure that your measurement and overall your program is up to standard. Also, I think professional development program like this by Ppka and VSM, I think it's good to make people aware and remind people about validity and reliability issues. Maybe during audit, when they audit programs, also check audit plans and tools. Remind the auditors to check assessment plan and assessment tools to make sure that they measure with validity and reliability. It may also be good to share good practices and visits. Example, in some faculties, assessment practice is good. Maybe we should arrange for other faculties to visit there. From my observation, I think the FPU, Perubatan, I think they are doing quite well. FPSK, okay, they are doing quite well in assessment. So maybe others can learn something from there. And in-house in the faculty, maybe the seniors who are more familiar with assessment practices, especially related to validity, reliability, should coach the younger people. Okay, that's all for me.
Thanks, Prof.
Yeah, thank you.
We have one more question from
Okay, go ahead.
Dennis. CLO at level 6, but being measured at level 4. Therefore, the measurement is invalid. Is it correct, Prof?
CLO has level 6. Then we should measure up to level 6. If we measure up to level 4, you are not measuring up to the level that we claim. Yeah, not valid. I mean, the simplest answer is not valid.
Right, thank you. Do we have any more questions?
Any more questions?
Yeah.
No question. Boleh pass exam semua ni. Patut ada kasih test kan. That's level 6 on validity and reliability.
Prof,
Yes.
ada soalan.
Okay.
But
Jangan tanya
maybe
yang
this,
susah-susah punya ni.
apa tu?
Jangan tanya soalan susah.
No, maybe this one a little bit terkeluar lah from this thing. It's
Okay.
about the practical skill in our new MQF
Okay.
punya framework tu.
Hmm.
So practical skill is not 100% psychomotor, isn't it?
Yes. Practical skill can be, or sometimes I use the technical skills. Technical skill is not necessarily psychomotor.
Okay.
Example, accounting technical, the technical part of accounting is actually more cognitive than psychomotor. Dan mana-mana psychomotor just pakai tangan dan jari saja untuk typing. So all these have to be we don't take it as a whole lah. We have to give as exemption for some of the very specific needs. When they say practical skill is psychomotor, they are referring to general lah. In generally mungkin begitulah. Especially MQF level 3, level 2 itu memang practical skill is psychomotor. But when it comes to MQF level 6, 7, and 8, first degree to PhD, practical skill can mean other things. We have to think of exemptions. Okay, so the answer is yeah, not exactly. Most of the time, yes. Yep.
Mau dengar jawapan dari Prof juga, Bang?
Ada soalan lain lah, tiada. Kalau tiada saya tanya soalan.
Ada soalan lagi yang lagi susah?
Lagi susah, Dennis jawab, pengarah jawab. Oke lah, kalau tiada kita rehat sajalah. You can send me an email if you
Prof.
are
Vincent.
sure to. Yeah, okay, Prof.
Yeah, Prof. Vincent. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for such detailed.
No worries.
Okay. Concerning the results of all the examination questions in the university in UMS, and now with the big data coming in, so what probably is a way forward that we can have data mining from the big results, they come up from our students?
Yes. Thanks, Prof. A very good question, actually. I have a master student. She has passed her viva. She registered in FKI. She was working on looking at learning outcomes beyond what we have in the ICGPA system. She looked at data from HEP, data from co-curriculum, and all possible data in the university. And she managed to design the system, and it is working. So I think in future, this may be the way forward lah for more holistic measurement. I believe the ministry is also working on this. So not just this student, I think a few other people are also working on this. We should see a more matured system coming up. Very good question, and it's very relevant to, in essence, for assessment in the future.
Right, thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you
for the question. Do we have any more questions from the participants? In case they want to ask you questions, Prof, maybe you can share.
Send me an email. Yeah.
The
Anytime.
The same UMS email address, Bagan, or you have another
Yes,
email?
Same UMS address.
I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. If no more question, then we would like to thank you very much, Prof. Vincent, for being with us today, and for sharing with us a very detailed information about reliability and validity in assessment. I hope the sharing given by Prof just now has helped us in making sure we come up with a valid form of measurement lah, kan, in terms of reliability and validity. So kalau boleh kita mau avoid lah one item very reliable tapi tidak valid. Kan macam case bowling tadi kan, and golf tu. Walaupun we think that we are very bad in golf tapi reliable, tapi still
Yeah.
it's not it's not.
Itu saya juga.
I like that example lah, very interesting lah. Okay.
Okay.
Very reliable tapi sebenarnya it's a way of you puji orang tu apa tu jaga hati dia kan tidak pandai main golf lah. So cakap reliable tapi still it's not valid lah. So as an academics, it's very important lah for us to reflect on this, make sure the items we measure is not only reliable but also valid lah. I think that's the main highlight lah of from the talk given by Prof just now. Thank you very much, Prof, from PPKA and
Thank you.
UMS for being with us. Before we leave the session, may I ask all participants to turn on your camera for a quick photo session just for our record lah. Kashfi boleh ambil ataupun macam mana?
Boleh, Doktor.
Okay, thank you. Sekejap lah, maybe kita give one few seconds lah for participants to turn on dia punya kamera. Mungkin ada yang mau betul-betulkan tudung ke apa kah?
Yang mau sikat rambut dulu.
Sikat rambut. Hai kawan-kawan, Dr. J, lama tak jumpa.
Hai, Prof.
Hai, lama tak dengar Ibu suara. Rindu suara.
Itulah, Prof.
Hai, so
Okay, Kashfi boleh.
Hai.
Hi, Prof.
Hi, Amin. Good to see you.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Saya check dulu next page ada kat buka. Cepat saya check dulu. Alright. Okay, ready ya? Macam satu page dia yang buka. Okay, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Cepat saya step sekali lagi bolehkah?
Boleh,
Cepat.
boleh.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright. Terima kasih semua. Terima kasih Prof Vincent.
Okay,
Once
thank you
again,
all.
once again, Prof, thank you very much for your time and
Thank you
for
so much, Prof. Take care.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Moderator Cik Amer.
Thank you, Prof. Vincent. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you to all participants. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Amer.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Prof, thank you PPK.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right. So we see you guys again in our next PPKA series talk lah. Somewhere in next week nanti kita akan advertise lah and send you posters. For the slide nanti for the materials we try to get it from Prof Vincent and then we'll
Okay,
share with all
no problem.
participants as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Have a good
Okay,
day.
thank you.
Right.